It's a crisp, cool August evening. Nice breeze crossing Viking Field here on the campus of Winnebago Lutheran Academy. Good evening, everyone. Glad to have you along Friday Night Lights in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Kettle Moraine Lutheran and Winnebago Lutheran Academy getting together here for the first game of the season for both teams and trying to get their seasons underway with a win against what used to be a flyway rival. Last year, Kettle Moraine Lutheran went 4-6 on the season, finished 6th place in the East Central Conference. One of those 4 wins for the Chargers, though, was against the Vikings on their home field. Season ago, KML won 20-13 at home, and it was the only loss for the Vikings early on in that season. The Vikings went 4-1 in what was a fairly easy schedule to start the season last year for Coach Kevin Lair's crew. The Vikings took a couple lumps at the back end of the season, went 1-3 down the stretch. They played the top 3 teams in the Flyway Conference, Springs, Mayville, and Campbellsport. Perhaps we'll talk a little bit more about the Flyway Conference throughout the evening. Vikings went 5-5 in the Flyway, finished the best among the non-conference championship teams. As I said, Campbellsport, Mayville, Springs all beat up on each other and finished as tied for the lead in the Flyway Conference. Vikings closed out their season last year on the road. Racine Lutheran 27-0 in level 1 of the playoffs. Now, talked to Coach Lair a couple of times since then, and that seems to be a misleading. He'll still stand by. That was a misleading result for his team. They had some opportunities, just couldn't get it done. We're going to have starters and national anthem. I'll step back in after that's done and let you know about the starters as well. Over to Mr. Klukas on the PA.
Our brothers and sisters in the faith, the players, coaches, students, parents, and other fans of the Chargers of Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School. Here are the starters on offense for the Chargers. Starting at center, number 71, Tyler Case. Starting guard, number 63, Simeon Zarling. Starting at guard, number 76, Daniel Bierman. Starting at tackle, number 75, Parker Wegman-Meyer. And starting tackle, number 57, Nicholas Mills. Starting at tight end, number 85, Justice Aubrey. Starting wide receiver, number 3, Trey Leering. Starting wide receiver, number 10, Matthew Thistle. Starting at running back, number 20, Marcus Martin. And starting running back, number 24, Benjamin Shawi. And tonight's quarterback for the Chargers, number 15, Landon Hagenow. The Chargers are coached by Dave Kren. And now, here are the starters on defense for your WLA Vikings. Starting at defensive end, number 5, Noah Gensler. Starting defensive end, number 72, Captain Oscar Bloom. Starting defensive tackle, number 55, Peyton Backery. Starting defensive tackle, number 61, Sebastian Paul. Starting at linebacker, number 20, Captain Jack Karst. Starting at linebacker, number 22, Captain Noah Schumacher. Starting linebacker, number 75, Chop Simmons. Starting at cornerback, number 10, Captain Sam Lair. Starting at corner, number 16, Marcus Christensen. Starting at safety, number 23, Captain Cole Wiedmeyer. And starting safety, number 28, Brendan Ebert. And the Vikings are coached by Kevin Lair. Winnebago Lutheran Academy, Kettle, Moraine Lutheran, and the entire WIAA require good sportsmanship at education-based sporting events. Attendance at interscholastic activities is a privilege, with the expectation to exhibit positive and respectful behavior. For the enjoyment and respect of all in attendance, your cooperation in demonstrating the high ideals of sportsmanship is expected and greatly appreciated. Tonight's officials: Bruce Schaefer, Brian Schaefer, Matthew Schaefer, Robert Horst, and Brian Kraus. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor the blessings of America, those who are defending our freedom, we ask those who are able to please stand, remove your hats, place your hand over your heart for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you.
There you go, just about ready to play football here again between the Chargers and the Vikings. Starters once again for Kettle, starting at quarterback, number 15, Landon Hagenow. He's going to try to find Matthew Thistle and Trey Leering on the outside. Marcus Martin in the backfield alongside Benjamin Shaywee. Up front, it'll be Simeon Zarling, Tyler Case, Parker Wegman-Meyer, Daniel Bierman, and Nicholas Mills. Justice Aubrey is the tight end for the Chargers. And the Vikings elected to announce the defensive starters. Noah Gensler, defensive end. 4 captains for the Vikings. One of them is sophomore Sam Lair, cornerback. Another one is a linebacker, sophomore Jack Karst. Number 16 is Marcus Christensen. He's a sophomore cornerback. Sam Lair and Jack Karst, both juniors. Noah Schumacher, linebacker, is a junior. Cole Wiedmeyer's another one of those captains. He's a senior. He'll play quarterback. Some quarterback we may see him play tonight. Most likely going to be running back for the Vikings. Talking about Cole Wiedmeyer. Brendan Ebert is a safety. He's a senior. Peyton Backery, defensive tackle, is a senior. Sebi Paul is a defensive tackle along with Peyton Backery. He's a junior. And then on the end, Oscar Bloom is the final captain. And Chop Simmons rounds out the linebacking core for the Vikings. Just about ready to get going here. I believe they said Gannon Schwartz, number 21. He's just a freshman for the Vikings. Looking forward to Gannon Schwartz, maybe seeing him on the basketball court a little bit this season, but certainly ready for some Friday night lights. Schwartz puts his hand in the air, and we're just about ready to go. Trots up to the football. He's kicking it up to the north. Caught there in the first return opportunity here for Martin. Martin up the middle and taken down there right around the 35-yard line. And that's where the Chargers will start their 2022-2023 school year season. Once again, talked about Landon Hagenow. He's a junior. 6 foot, 160-pound junior for the Chargers. And an early stoppage here just to get the football switched out. First game of the season, I'm sure there's going to be some kinks to work out on all the sides. I'm just thankful we have a stream working. Got the video going. We got the score in the upper corner because you can't see the Viking score. Over the course, our first year with the huddle camera, out here on the football field, second year really. And in the first year, we learned that it gets knocked around a little bit with the wind and the snow during the winter. Here's a play fake, and slammed down. There's a fumble. And coming off the edge, Noah Gensler got to the quarterback, knocked it free. Helmet came off of Hagenow. He got hit hard, fumbled the football. Pounced on it by Benjamin Shawi. Heads up play there by Shawi. And Hagenow with his helmet popping off, they're going to have to send in senior Christopher Kasanga for Hagenow. So we'll see who takes the snap here. Just the second snap of the season, and things are already well behind schedule. 2nd and 16 for the Chargers. My goodness, we know what Noah Gensler can do. Going back to last season, coming off the edge, and that was a massive way to start this season. In the pistol formation, snap is taken. Handing here straight up the middle, and another good play by that interior defensive line by the Vikings is Thistle, or pardon me, that's Martin, who got very little. And it's going to be, should be about 3rd and 13 or so.
A gain of 4, it'll be 3rd and 12 for the Chargers.
And a 3rd and long, which is just what the doctor ordered if you're the Vikings. It was a 20-13 score last year, so not a ton of scoring. And the Vikings would love to get a 3-and-out early here. Run straight up the middle. Jack Karst was the first one there. Oscar Bloom helped him out. And I think the Vikings are really they're really excited talking to the coaching staff about what Oscar Bloom brings to this team as one of the veterans. And he was one of the first ones there along with co-captain Jack Karst. And Wiedmeyer's going to trot back deep along with Schumacher, a couple of dangerous returners for the Vikings. Martin will go back to punt, and Martin a couple of carries there, able to gain 6 yards for the Chargers. But the Vikings going to get their first opportunity offensively in just a second. Here's Schumacher, makes the catch, one move, dives forward. That's good punt coverage there. That was number 2 for the Chargers, Jack Neitzel getting down the field. And the Vikings going to have slightly worse field position than the Chargers. They'll start it up at about the 32.5-yard line for WLA's first possession of this new season. So I suppose we'll get the elephant in the room out of the room early. We'll address that, and that's the fact that your leading passer and leading rusher, Ethan Cole, is no longer out there on the field. So who's it going to be for the Vikings? Well, they hope it's going to be number 10, junior Sam Lair. And Lair will get his opportunity to pull the strings here for the offense. It's Gensler to the top of the screen. Know how dangerous he can be. I go back to game last year where he torched the Lemira Lion defense late in the season. Here's a handoff instead of Cole Wiedmeyer. Wiedmeyer off tackle, gains about 3. We'll give him 3 there, 2nd and 7. Wiedmeyer's another one that I think the Vikings have been really impressed with over the course of the offseason, and his ability to work hard, give himself an opportunity to be a leader on this team, and I think they're plenty thrilled with what they've gotten from him. Vincent Rivez out there on the end of the line. He's going to be right next to Sebi Paul, and I think they're going to want to run on this strong side of the field. Chop Simmons plays both ways in the trenches. The Vikings have so much returning on those offensive and defensive line. Here's Wiedmeyer once again, and Wiedmeyer's going to give the Vikings 3 more. I call that 3rd and 4, maybe 3rd and 5. We'll go with 3rd and 5. Won't question Mr. Klukas on the mic. 9:14 to go here in the first quarter, and the Vikings trying to avoid the same fate as the Chargers. Kettle went 3 and out on their first possession. All 3 snaps have come under center here on this first drive, and Sam Lair goes under center. They're going to send Schumacher in motion, give the ball Schumacher on the end around. He's going to dart straight upfield, get the first down, and that's the first down of the night for either team. And it goes to the Winnebago Lutheran Academy Vikings. Got about 7 on that play. You know, Schumacher did what I think if you got a young running back, you want them to do, and that is don't get tempted to try to get all the way to the sideline. That's how you bust a big play, sure. But on 3rd and 5, let's get north-south, even though you're kind of running that play on the side of the field, get north-south and pick up those yards. He was able to do that first down Vikings. They're at their own 46-yard line. Lair back under center, Wiedmeyer straight behind them. Slot near side is once again Schumacher. They're going to throw it back to him. He's got to make a guy miss in the backfield. Not able to do so. That was a heck of a play. And I believe that was number 2 once again, Jack Netzel. It was. Netzel did just enough. Now, it was a convoy of Chargers to knock him down, but Netzel was able to hold on, create a 3-yard loss, maybe 4. Yeah, we'll give him a 3-yard loss. So Schumacher loses 3 of the 7 he just gained, and it'll leave a 2nd and 13. So everything positive for the Vikings early on. 3 running plays. They try what will go down as a running play. It was a backwards pass, and leads to a 3-yard loss. Here's an inside run to Cole Wiedmeyer, and Wiedmeyer stacked up. He's going to lose a yard. That was excellent penetration by the Chargers, about 3 or 4 of them that pushed the Vikings line backwards. It's going to be loss of a yard, lead 3rd and 14, and after just talking about being where you want to be, 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, now the Vikings leave themselves in a tough situation, 3rd and 14. All runs so far for the Vikings. I'm sure Kettle will know that Gensler presents a huge target on the outside. Gensler goes 6'3", 180, as I said before. Got to be careful with an athlete like that. I don't see him on the field right now for the Vikes on 3rd and long. He's out there somewhere, but tucked in. They're going to send Wiedmeyer out in motion. Here's the play fake. There is Gensler, straight down the middle of the field, over the top. It's Gensler with the play. Gensler with the catch, and he trots into the end zone right on cue. Noah Gensler, 59 yards, 59 yards for the touchdown. How's that for Sam Lair? 1 pass, 1 touchdown, just about 60 yards. It's 6-0. Oh, man. Well, sometimes athletes make me sound good. That probably didn't even sound good to you guys, but if it did, Noah Gensler, just talking about him, what a threat he is. My goodness, going over the top. 59-yard touchdown. Well, I'd say that's a good way to start the season if you're the Vikings. Force a 3-and-out defensively, and then that's the way you do it offensively. Schwartz puts it through, and it's an early 7-0 lead for the Vikes. Stay with us. We'll be back. You're watching WLA football on WLA TV. Vikes lead it 7-0. Sam Lair 1 for 1, and it was a big one. 59-yard touchdown strike to Noah Gensler, and that's the way that you start feeling good about your offense. Your defense stays fresh. All in all, it was a 7-play, check that, 6-play drive for the Vikings. 5 runs, 1 big pass for Winnebago Lutheran. See if Kettle can respond here once again. It will be Schwartz to kick off. Sam Elke back there along with Matthew Thistle for the Chargers. Schwartz, a couple of big strides, and he's going to kick it once again to Elke. Elke takes at about the 15-yard line, cuts once, cuts twice, has a convoy. Elke to the near side, makes another man miss, bulls over a Viking, and Schwartz able to push him out of bounds on the near side. That's a heck of a return from Elke. If he caught it at the 15, return that one all the way back into Viking territory, 38-yard line. So you're talking, well, about what, 25-ish yards of field position difference. They started their first one at their own 35-yard line. And this one they're starting at the plus 38 for the Chargers. Back into the game, Landon Hagenow. Hagenow was rattled early on with that hit from Noah Gensler. Takes the snap and the pitch. Nice play out there, staying home, number 28 for the Vikings. That's Brendan Ebert, senior for the Vikes. And Shaywee able to get about a yard there. We'll give him the yard. Make it 2nd and 9. The net yardage gain on that first possession for the Chargers was nothing. 6-yard sack and then a couple of plays to get those two back, a couple of 3-yard runs. Both of those coming from Marcus Martin. They get a yard here. Hagenow back into the backfield. That's a slant. And all the way, that's a response from the Chargers. Matthew Thistle snatched a perfect pass from Hagenow. Hit him in stride, and the senior never had to stop running. Well-worked play by the Chargers, and that didn't take long at all. A 2-play drive that took about a minute off the clock time-wise. And they've an extra point away from tying this thing up. So both quarterbacks are 1 for 1 with a touchdown. That was a nice play, 37-yard strike. Here's the extra point opportunity. A couple of Vikes busting through, but it's through the uprights, and this thing is tied. That's a great job done there by the Chargers and their coaching staff. Nothing doing on the running side, so they run a slant and take it to the house. Back after this. Tie game here on WLA TV. Welcome back here. Jordan King with you, WLA TV. Glad to have you along. 7-7 early on in the 2022 season here. And right after the 59-yard strike for the Vikings, Matthew Thistle. I'll tell you what, that was impressive from Thistle. 6 foot, 155-pound receiver. Caught it on the slant, and he was gone in a flash. And Thistle's back to kick now. Back deep for the Vikings is Cole Wiedmeyer. Gensler also back there along with Schumacher. It's going to go to Wiedmeyer, though, and we'll see what he can do on the return. Straight up the middle, and he is wrestled down at about the 31-yard line. Far side official has him at the 30. We'll see who prevails on that one. Got him at the 30. Just trying to make sure we got the audio synced up with the video here. We'll keep working on that. Here's a pitch to Wiedmeyer. Wiedmeyer around the near side, breaks a couple of tackles. He's got the first down and more across midfield into Charger territory. Cole Wiedmeyer takes it from the 30 out to plus 47 territory. Nice job there from Cole Wiedmeyer. Make it a pickup of 23. For Wiedmeyer. Starting this one on their own 30, quickly into Charger territory. It's been a case of teams moving the ball quickly offensively. Here is Sam Lair. Takes the snap and the give. Near side, Brendan Ebert on the carry. And Ebert able to bulldoze his way ahead for 3 yards.
Brendan Ebert, the ball carrier. Gain of 2 on the play. 2nd and 8.
So 2nd and 7 upcoming for the Vikings. Tied up here 7-7, 4:36 to go in the first quarter. Under center once again, Sam Lair, and a false start for the Vikes. I think that might have been Revez who got an early start. They'll march him back 5 yards. And it'll end up being 2nd and 12. So the whole reason, or pretty much the whole reason, you try to, they're going to say it's 2nd and 8, so we'll give Ebert 2 yards on that previous carry. The whole reason you run those is to stay ahead of the chains. Now the illegal procedure, and you put yourself into a 2nd and 13 situation that's difficult. Oh, there's a nice, well-worked play, and Gensler was out ahead blocking, almost blocked Schumacher's way. Schumacher got the penalty yardage back, but now it leaves you with a 3rd and 8 for the Vikes. Gensler not afraid to do the dirty work. Gets out ahead of his teammates, blocks well. Then obviously he can do what he did before, which was a set much like this, and Kettle lost him because he was playing a tight end role instead of his usual split end role. And as they got the same opportunity, instead it's Schumacher. That was a difficult pass for Lair. I'll tell you what, that's kind of that's the toughest pass you can throw out there, is that fade to the corner. They're in no man's land here, so we'll see how aggressive Coach Kevin Lair gets. Cole Keifenheim is the freshman who's headed out there. I would assume does the punting for the Vikings. It's kind of that awkward position. You're just past midfield on your plus 45. How aggressive do you get? And now Ebert's going to run back onto the field. So Lair is in the backfield. Now they did this last year with Ethan Cole as well. He's in the shotgun. He can run back and then maybe punt it as well. That's what he's going to do. Take a couple of steps back, drop back 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and a whistle, delay of game. Vikes took too long to decide how they were going to play that. And the second time, Vikes will have suffered 10 yards of penalties on this drive, which stymied a couple of good runs. Delay, 5-yard penalty, stays 4th down, so 4th and 13. Ball sits on midfield. And the Vikes will certainly punt here. Lair's going to, again, they always send their quarterback to 5 yards deep and then drop him back to 10 if they would elect to punt. Not sure what the delay is here. Going to reset the clock to 3:22. Got that situated. And Lair will once again drop back 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And boot it away with the right foot. Here's Elke, who has to run away from it, and Gensler downs it. That's a good punt from Lair. They're going to give it to him at the 12. So a nice punt from Sam Lair, but the Chargers got to feel good about that. Keep the Vikes off the board and give them, well, a modified 3 and out. The Vikings did not get a first down. A couple of penalties were really the result of that. But a better job by the Chargers. So they'll start this drive at their own 15-yard line. Hagenau back in the backfield for Kettle. A couple of running backs back there as well. Here's the turn. Here's the give. Oh, right around the side. I think that was that Bloom or was that Paul who came through the far side? Chop Simmons was involved as well. They're going to give him 2 yards. This is the difficult angle broadcasting-wise. I'm on the far south side of the press box. So up north there, got to peek around the corner and awful angle to see how much they gain. But gave him a couple of yards there and a host of Vikings in on that tackle. Here's the snap. Play fake once again. Trouble. Blitz. Vikings get to him. Good job there by Hagenau to hang on once again. He was hit hard, but Hagenau able to get about a yard. So between Shawi and Hagenau, able to gain a couple. Still leaves a 3rd and long, and this is the situation the Vikings want to be in. They're going to actually say that Hagenau lost a yard there, back to 3rd and 10. So ideal situation here for the Vikings to try to get off the field. Couple of options to the top side, 2 running backs, 2 receivers on the near side. 6 down linemen for the Chargers. Here's the snap, the give, near side. Hagenau's going to keep it. Nice play fake. He gets around the corner. Hagenau going to run over a Viking and get the first down. That's a nice play by the Chargers, and Hagenau specifically reading that well. I'll give him 18 for Hagenau. First down as he keeps the drive moving. That's one you don't want to give up on kind of an option read there. Hagenau just kept it. Ran physically. Ball's sitting at the 29, so we'll give him 17 yards on the play. 1st and 10 for the Chargers. Minute 40 left here in the first quarter. Tied up 7-7. Hagenau in the, well, I guess you could call it pistol. You could call it inverted wishbone type of formation that they run there. Straight up the middle. Once again, this is Shawi. Give him about 3. 2nd and 7, we'll call it.
Gain of 3, it'll be 2nd and 7.
So after the first 3 and out, which was really, I mean, for the Vikings, Gensler put the Chargers behind almost by himself. Here's another slant. Oh, over the head. Got away with the grab, the Vikings did too, but here goes Leering. Leering down the near side 10. 5 steps out at the 8, and a nice job to run him down by Miles McCauley by the Vikings. Man, they're going to say he stepped out at the 10 or 11. That was a great play by Leering. And I got to be honest with you, if he didn't catch that, there could have been a flag for pass interference. I think McCauley got away with the grab there. There was no flag down on the field, but it doesn't really matter. They're in scoring territory here down at the 10. Hagenau in the pistol, turns, hands. Oh, Chop Simmons from his middle linebacker spot comes up and able to smoke Marcus Martin. Martin gets a yard there. 57 yards all told on that Hagenau to Leering pass. And Hagenau's efficiency is through the roof right now. I got him for 2 for 2. His 2 passes have both resulted for big gains. One a 37-yard touchdown, one a 57-yard gain. Oh, straight through the middle and blowing it up, Peyton Backery. Came flying through the line, and he just ruined the mesh point for the Chargers there. Peyton Backery, what a play there. See the final spot where they got that out at the 13-yard line, loss of 3. I guess we'll have to credit it to the rushing total of quarterback Landon Hagenow because he really didn't get rid of the football. End of the first quarter. Kettle knocking on the door, but it's still tied 7-7. Chargers and the Vikings. You're watching on WLA TV. Stay with us. Back here on WLA TV, Jordan King with you. Glad to have you along. Appreciate you joining us. Good crowd here tonight as well. And if you can't get here, WLA TV is your place. But get on out here to Viking Field. Take in some football. Should be about 3rd and 12 here. 3rd and long for the Chargers. Once again, on the keeper, knifing through the middle. Landon Hagenow for the touchdown. The Vikings had a couple of linebackers come through there and hit the running back, Shaywee. But Hagenow, they were left grasping straws with Hagenow. Hagenow 12 yards and the touchdown. Matt Thistle will stay on for the extra point opportunity for the Chargers. Put it down on the tee. That one is shanked wide, and it will be a 13-7 KML lead. Well, a first quarter that was very efficient for Hagenow. He's got to be feeling good about his play. You know, like we talked about early on, that big hit from Noah Gensler and how that could have potentially rattled the junior quarterback. Instead, he comes back out, goes 2 for 2 in the first quarter, 94 yards and a touchdown. And then to open up the second quarter, faced with a 3rd and long, and perhaps that's the frustrating part of things for the Vikings on that drive. Gave up a couple of long third down plays, a 3rd and 10 and a 3rd and 12 specifically, both keepers by Landon Hagenow, and he trots in from 12 yards to make it a 13-7 Charger lead over the Vikings. But I suppose the flip side of that is the Chargers could have gotten off the field on a 3rd and long of their own, and they allowed a 59-yard Noah Gensler TD. Pardon me. Still working on getting the audio synced up here. Hopefully getting closer. Schumacher, Gensler, and Wiedmeyer back to return for the Vikings, and Thistle will kick once again. First quarter for Sam Lair was 1 for 2, 59 yards in the touchdown. All of those yards going to Gensler. Here's the kick, high and deep. It'll go to Cole Wiedmeyer. Wiedmeyer catches that about the 10. Makes one cut to the near side, back to the middle, and he is cut down at the 32-yard line. Vikings have started their drives in their own field position every time this game so far. At their own 30 a couple of times. This will be at their own 32. Kettle's not had much better field position. They had the one that was in plus territory. They got the 37-yard touchdown on that drive. So what can the Vikings do to respond? First time trailing this season, and they trail by 6. Kettle used to be in the Flyweight Conference, used to be a rival of the Vikings. Give to Ebert, and that's a nice play. Couldn't see the number there on the contain of the near side. See if he can turn around. I believe it was Thistle. Yeah, there's Matt Thistle. Cutting down Ebert in the backfield. 2nd and 12. Thistle made the big play in the passing game, got the 37-yard touchdown. His running mate on the outside, Trey Leering, had the 57-yard play. Both of them coming on slants when they were just able to get inside leverage on the Vikings receivers. Got that first step and then used their speed to create big plays. Here's Lair. Lair in trouble in the backfield, going to lob it over, look for Wiedmeyer, and it harmlessly falls to the turf. I'll tell you what, those passes out to the flat that just kind of flutter out there can sometimes be dangerous. So perhaps not the worst thing that could have happened with that particular play for the Vikings, but it sets up at 3rd and 12. So after completing that first pass, which was a beauty over the top to Noah Gensler for 59 yards, since then it's been 2 incompletions consecutively for Lair. And on that particular instance, looking for his senior leader, Cole Wiedmeyer. Here's Wiedmeyer, far side, in motion to the near side. Lair takes the snap, steps up into the pocket, little shoulder shimmy, finds Gensler on the outside. Is that close enough to warrant going for it? I'm thinking probably not. It's going to be about 4th and 5. We'll give him 7 on the pickup. So we'll see if that kind of the start of a. We know they're classmates, Gensler and Lair, both of them 2-year varsity starters on the basketball team, have had a lot of athletic success so far here at WLA. And the first 2 completions of Lair's season, not his career. He threw a touchdown pass in that Lomira game last year, one we thought was kind of garbage time, but Lions almost came back and won that game. But his first 2 this year go to Gensler. Snap to the quarterback, Lair, and that one was off the side of his foot, and this one's barely going to get into Charger territory. They're going to mark it at the 48. And so that turns out to be about a 17-yard punt or so, maybe 20 yards there on the punt for Lair. So after, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of good possessions for the Vikes to start things off this evening, or just really the one good possession. After that, they had the penalties that cut the last possession short, and then that 3-and-out that they just had. So back-to-back punts for the Vikings. Chargers looking to make them pay. They've scored on their last 2 possessions. Keeping it once again and pitching it this time to the near side. I think Price was out of bounds there. Martin, pardon me.
He's knocked out of bounds in Viking territory.
Got a former program, last season's program laying in here, and there's a Price on there. So pardon me for that. It's Martin who able to pick up about 4 yards, and everyone is scrambling for cover or some sort of umbrella or something as the rain starts to team down. See if the ball security stays the same. Chop Simmons trying to drag down Shawi here. He's able to do so. Shawi picks up 2. Going to end up being a 3rd and 4 here. Hagenau trots over to the sideline to get his call for 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, somewhere around there for this Charger offense. Opportunity for the Vikings to try to get off the field. Man, it is not a light rain right now. It's coming down pretty good. We'll see if this affects ball security at all. Here's Hagenau. And, yeah, you could tell there. Now, I'm not saying that the Vikings didn't have that covered on a dry day, but there's just that mesh point where you hand the ball off to the running back. It's just a little bit slower in the rain. There's no gain on that one. It's 4th and 5, 4th and 4. Call it 4th and 4.5. But it just slows things down a little bit. Got to make sure that you secure the football. Certainly you don't want to don't want to have to punt, but you want to make sure you don't give the Vikings any momentum. Your defense has done a nice job, and that's a good job there by Shaywee to just take that extra little bit, extra half second. Almost blocked, and we'll see if they get a running into the kicker. The Vikings are going to claim they tipped it, but there's laundry on the field. I don't think the Viking coaching staff likes this. It was Sebi Paul. They're going to say roughing the punter, and it's going to give 15 and an automatic first. Well, it was hard to tell, impossible to tell from up here if Sebi Paul got any part of that. If he did, well, obviously that's the incorrect call, but again, referee standing right there, he didn't get any bit of that ball, so that's roughing the punter, and an opportunity that looks good. Looks almost too hard to pass up. And you're given 15 yards and automatic first down, so that's going to go all the way down to the 30-yard line. Just inside of it will be the nose. And star that one here in the first half for the Vikings. 15-yard personal foul. Vikes were off the field. And now they give another opportunity to this offense under the direction of Hagenow. Hagenow takes the snap, drops back. Coming off the edge, Gensler once again. Noah Gensler with his second sack of the evening. Just a loss of 2 or 3 there. They're going to say 3. 2nd and 13. Second time that Gensler looked like he was shot out of a cannon straight into the backfield and wreaking havoc on this Charger offense. There hasn't been a ton of negative plays for Kettle, but a couple of them have come in the passing game, courtesy, as I mentioned, Noah Gensler. Here's Hagenow. Oh, that snap over the head. Opportunity for the Vikings. This is going to be a huge loss. But once again, that's Shaywee's second fumble recovery here at the ball game. 45-yard line, so that's going to be a loss of 15 yards, not quite 12 yards on that fumble. But again, how different could this game be if Benjamin Shaywee's not on his toes and thinking quick a couple of times to save the Chargers from a pair of turnovers. Here's Hagenow in the pistol formation, takes the snap, turns, and give it to Shaywee. Shaywee trying to break a couple of tackles. The final guy there was Schumacher. They're going to give him 1. 4th and 24 is not the situation you want to be in. Here's going to be a timeout from the Chargers.
They have 2 timeouts remaining in the half.
Just their first timeout. So want to make sure everything is clean here, I'm sure. Talking about Coach Kren's crew over there. Just make sure everything's good. Good snap, good punt, and let's try to pin the Vikings deep. Made a couple of mistakes there. You had Gensler off the edge with the sack, and then you had the snap over the head of your quarterback, and just a little miscommunication there. Don't compound mistakes at this point if you are the Chargers, and that's, I would imagine, is part of this timeout. So both of these teams take turns exchanging mistakes. Vikes thought they were off the field, and then Sebi Paul flagged for a 15-yard roughing the punter penalty. And the Chargers don't make good use of it necessarily, as they lost 15 yards on the first 2 plays. 4th and 24 here in the second quarter. 6 minutes and 36 seconds left in the first half. 13-7 Kettle. They scored on a 12-yard scamper from Landon Hagenow and a 37-yard strike from Hagenow to Matt Thistle. Once again, the Vikings come through, but the punt is away. Catching it back there, muffing the punt, now collecting it is Wiedmeyer. And Wiedmeyer able to spin forward. Ooh. He gets it out to the 11 is where I think they're going to mark it. But heart in the throat moment there for the Vikings. Oh, man. As you thought, might be an opportunity there for the Chargers. They're going to move it back to the 10. And that would not have been good if you're a Vikings fan, obviously. Rain has lightened up, maybe even stopped. I've seen all the umbrellas have come down now, and I think just a couple of quick showers have passed. Perhaps more on the way. Here's the give. That looks like Ebert, and he busts through the line. Looks like he's going to pick up about 4 yards.
Brendan Ebert off the right side for the Vikings.
So sets up second down, and you know,
14, a gain of 4, it'll be second and 6.
Vikes just got to get something positive going here. Made plenty of mistakes here early on in this first half. And that was something that I think during that 4-game winning streak last year, the Vikings didn't do a lot of. And then you play Mayville, Campbell, Sport Springs. Now you're playing against teams that make you make mistakes. And that's why they're part of why they're so good. Here's Wiedmeyer, far side. He's going to get a first down. Wiedmeyer all the way out to the 27-yard line. Pick up 13 there for Cole. So first down, and the Vikings have a little bit of breathing room from the shadows of their own goalposts, where they'll pick it up with a first down play call. Told you how Kettle scored. If you're just joining us, WLA on a 3rd and 10, maybe 3rd and 8, 3rd and long it was. A 59-yard touchdown pass coming from the arm of Sam Lair to Noah Gensler. Here's a handoff once again, and this is better defensively from Kettle that time. About a 1-yard gain, maybe 2 for Wiedmeyer. About second and 9. And Sam Lair will come to the near side to get the play call. You know, talking about the Flyweight Conference, I think a lot of people expect Mayville. You don't lose a lot off that team last year, especially in the skill positions. You lose some in the trenches, certainly, but, man, Mayville looks destined to maybe play down at Camp Randall once again this season. Schroff-Nagel, Middlestadt, Buschke. Oh, here's a snap over Lair's head. Got to be careful. Who's going to get on top of it? Lair not able to get it. Is it the Chargers that's able to? Yes, the Chargers leap on it. And they're going to be down inside the 10, inside the 5-yard line. Snap goes over Lair's head. Lair was the only Viking to run back to it. The first 2 Chargers missed it, but there were no other Vikings in the vicinity. Going to be a timeout here. The Vikings going to take a timeout, if nothing else, try to regroup here. We'll take a timeout with them. Another mistake in the first half of this one. And the Chargers knocking on the door once again. They lead by 6 already. They're inside the 5 when we come back. You're watching on WLA TV. Stay with us. So coming out of the timeout, that was the Vikings' first timeout of the half. It's going to be placed at the 4-yard line. Well, we'll see the resolve of the Vikings here. Can they keep the Chargers out of the end zone? Here is Hagenau in the shotgun, turns, hands. No, he's going to keep it. And they're going to drive him back. Nice job. Good discipline there. Chop Simmons. First one there. Second one was Oscar Bloom. They're going to say Hagenau lost a yard there. So 2nd and goal from the 5. Ticking down, under 4 minutes to go here till halftime. Opportunity knocking on the door. Hagenau in the Chargers offense. Hagenau claps once, takes the snap, turns, keeps, now pitches, and good pursuit by the Vikings. Once again, I think that was Sam Lair was the first one in that instance. Few yards perhaps gained that time by Shaywee. And I think they're back inside that 5-yard line again. Maybe gave him the yard? No, they're going to give him 2 yards back. So 3rd and goal from the 3. This would be a massive stand for the Vikings if they can avoid giving up 6. Turn, hand, knifing his way through is Martin. Does he score? No. He's going to hold him short. Man, got to believe the Chargers are going to be tempted to go for this one, certainly, as they're going to be only a couple of yards short of the goal line. Looking for an official spot here. Looks like it's at about the 1-yard line. We'll give Martin a couple on that one. So 4th down. Chargers have the 6-point lead, looking for more, and they're going to talk about this. Timeout for Kettle.
The Chargers take their 2nd timeout.
That's their 2nd timeout, so they'll have 1 more left.
Play resumes at a 4th and goal from the
2:19 to go here in the first half, 13-7. Started off with the Vikings starting hot, got Kettle off the field early, 3 and out. And then it was Sam Lair who found Noah Gensler for a 59-yard touchdown strike. Kettle got a great return, and perhaps I haven't really mentioned that, but can't overlook the return that they got out of Elke, Sam Elke, and put him in good field position at their plus 38. And then a 37-yard touchdown strike just 2 plays later to Matthew Thistle from Hagenau. And then Hagenau ran one into this same north end zone just a few minutes ago. Now an opportunity to really extend this lead going into halftime. Hagenau dives forward. No whistle as of yet. Vikings say they stopped him. And a couple of Vikings coming out of the pile. There's no signal. The Vikes hold. Couple of fist pumps from Sam Lair, a couple from Cole Wiedmeyer, and the Vikings have avoided giving up any points after they snapped the ball nearly into their own end zone. That drive started at the 4-yard line for the Chargers, and they come up empty. Been talking about star this moment here in the first half. Here's another one. With 1 minute and 55 seconds left in the first half, the Vikings able to avoid giving up any points. Oh, my goodness. What a stand by that interior defensive line. You're talking about Oscar Bloom, Sebi Paul, Peyton Backery. Noah Schumacher had his nose in there, as did Chop Simmons. Quarterback keeper, the Vikes just trying to get some breathing room here. And Lair will dive forward. Maybe give him a yard on that play for Lair. The ball was at the 1-yard line. So, yeah, just 2. The 2-yard line now. 2nd and 9. Minute 25 here. Take your time if you're the Vikings, certainly. You're a long way from putting points on the board. Opportunity here to just get into the halftime, giving up as little as you possibly can. Oh, and there's a Kettle player that jumped on the near side. That's 75 unless a Viking made
Signal is
Parker Wegman-Meyer move. No, they're going to say he jumped across the line of scrimmage. So there's a gift for the Vikings with a minute 5 seconds left.
balls at the 7-yard line, 2nd and 4.
Second and 4. Now you can you can do a little bit more. I don't think you're dropping back to pass and throwing 4 verts here. But certainly you can be a little bit more creative than simply quarterback dive straight up the middle, which is likely what you're doing at the 2-yard line. So out at the 7, 2nd and 4 with a minute 5 left here in the first half. Snap to Lair, turns, gives. I believe that's Ebert once again, trying to carve out a way to get the first down.
Brendan Ebert, the ball carrier.
As we tick under a minute to go.
Gain on the play is short of a first down. The 3rd and 2.
They're going to give him 2 on that one, so 3rd and 2. Stick around at halftime. We'll give you some facts and figures, some statistics here from the first half. Not a ton of throwing statistics, but we thought that might be the case anyway. Against a couple of teams that want to move the ball on the ground. I know the Vikings certainly love what they got in the trenches. Here's a run from Ebert, knifing around. I think he got the first down, so unless the Vikings going to try to be aggressive here, that should do it here in the first half. And I got to believe the Vikings may just trot into the locker room and consider themselves a little fortunate that we're going to get a horn here in 10 seconds, and the Vikings are not down 20 to 7. Although we're going to get a timeout here.
The Vikings take their 2nd timeout each.
Oh, Vikes going to take a timeout. Thought they might just about trot off into the locker room, but no. They're going to take a timeout. We'll take it with them. Continue adding up some first half stats here. Come back after this. Finish out the first half. You're watching WLA TV. Stay with us. Just a second till we are into the halftime intermission here between the Vikes and the Chargers. I would assume this would be maybe an outside run, something maybe you can bust off. But again, I don't think this is something you're putting in the air. I don't think it's something you're going to get too crazy with, but perhaps something. Oh, they are going to. No, it was a snap to Wiedmeyer. Looked like Sam Lair was going outside or going down the field with it, but he was not. Gets out to the 29. That's going to end the first half. So 18 yards for Wiedmeyer. And that's going to close out the first half. So the Vikes trail by 6 to the Chargers. They led 7-0, gave up 13 straight points, but they'll go into the locker room with about as much momentum as got to believe, as much momentum as you can have with some of the mistakes that the Vikings made there in that first half. So not all bad for the Vikes. Had some good offensive showing, but were slowed down certainly down the stretch of that first half. Jordan King with you here on WLA TV. They'll put 15 minutes on this halftime clock. We'll come back in a few minutes with a halftime update. Vikes trail by 6, and you're watching on WLA TV. Welcome back. Halftime, 13-7. Kettle Moraine Lutheran Chargers lead the Winnebago Lutheran Academy Vikings. Here at Viking Field, opening game of the 2022 season. Vikings looking to build off a 5-5 campaign from last year. They made the playoffs, went 5-4 in the regular season before dropping that game to Racine Lutheran in the postseason. First half for the Vikes, they started off hot, 7-0 lead, got Kettle off the field with a 3-and-out, and then went straight down the field and scored. But since then, it has been all Chargers all the time. And the Kettle Moraine Lutheran Academy, or Kettle Moraine Lutheran Chargers lead this one 13-6. Some stats here. We'll start with the Chargers. On the ground, they haven't had a ton of success, just enough to keep the chains moving. And I think if you talk to Coach Kren, that's probably just about what he wants. Just keep the drive moving. Let's start to wear down that opposing line, and we'll see if they've been able to do that come second half. Leading rusher in that first half was also their leading passer, number 15, the quarterback Landon Hagenow. Hagenow, oh man, he was slippery there in that first half when it came to those zone reads, and was very successful. He had 24 yards, a couple of long scampers. He had a 17-yard run and a 12-yard run, and then a lot of small runs and plenty of lost yardage as well in that first half for Hagenow. But 24 yards, had the second touchdown as he ran it in. Second leading rusher was number 20, Marcus Martin. He had 13 yards in that first half, and then number 24, Benjamin Shawi, had 10 to close out the rushing attack for the Chargers. Now again, Shawi, like I said in that first half, about 5 minutes left in that second quarter. If Shawi isn't able to land on a couple of fumbles, man, this game might look just entirely different. But Shawi's done a nice job for the Chargers. And then through the air, Hagenow was good as well. So far, he's 2 for 2. He's taken a couple of sacks, but pretty much every time he's dropped back to pass, good things have happened. He is 2 for 2, 94 yards and a touchdown, so he's accountable for all 13 points that the Chargers have scored this evening. On the WLA side, and by the way, just a shout out to the receivers as well. Get you their statistics for the Chargers. The touchdown was a 37-yard one to Matthew Thistle, and then the other big play was a 57-yard bomb to Trey Leering. Both of those coming on slants. For the Vikings, 59 yards on the ground for Cole Wiedmeyer. A couple of just big chunk plays. Now that's including an 18-yard kind of garbage time, but hey, they all count, right? So 59 yards in the first half for Wiedmeyer, and 6 yards for Brendan Ebert. Really nothing to speak of for the quarterback, Sam Lair. He's taken a few lumps, but has done a nice job in his first opportunity to start for the Vikings. Speaking of Lair, he was 1 for 3 there in that first half. 59-yard touchdown strike was to Noah Gensler. Pardon me, he was 2 for 5 in that first half. Gensler caught both passes, had 66 yards, and as I mentioned, the score. So 5 minutes left here in the first half. Vikes trying to get their season off to the best start possible, and that would be going 1-0 here tonight. They trail the Chargers 13-7. It's a close one, as it was last year between these two teams, and we are looking forward to the second half. Stay with us. You're watching on WLA TV. Just about ready to go here. Vikings Chargers. Vikes will receive the second half kickoff. All the more reason for them to play the end of that first half as they did. I'll tell you what, if there is such a thing as get out of jail cards, the Vikes used theirs in the first half with about 2 minutes left, 3 minutes or so. Vikings had a third and long, snapped the ball over quarterback Sam Lair's head and ended up at the 4-yard line of the Vikings. That's where the Chargers recovered and took over, and they were unable in 4 chances to punch the ball in. And I'll tell you what, that makes it a 19 or a 20-7 game. And the outlook on this half would have been completely different for the Vikings. There's no doubt about that. Instead, they're down by just 6. Put a good drive together here, and the whole complexion of this ball game changes. A couple of Vikings back there. It'll bounce to Wiedmeyer. Wiedmeyer takes, cuts back to the near side, tries to get the edge, cuts it back upfield, and he gets knifed down at the 25-yard line. So second verse starts similarly at least as the first in terms of field position. The first chance here for the Vikes will be at their own 25-yard line. See if the Vikes can get a little bit more going in this half offensively. Again, started out great. Faltered as the half wore on a little bit. I suppose that's to be expected with a new first-time starting quarterback. Here's Lair under center, takes the handoff and the give to the up man. I believe that was Wiedmeyer as the up man. It was. Able to gain something there. He had 59 yards in the first half, by far. The leading rusher for the Vikings gets a pair there. So he's over the 60-yard mark in this first game of the 2022 season, his senior season. Seen a lot on social media from the Viking football accounts, and their players have been working hard trying to get to camps. They've been in the weight room. A pretty committed group this. Here's Wiedmeyer out to the flank, and that's a nice play out there. He's hit hard on the far side, and that's the touchdown man, Matt Thistle. He scored the first score for the Chargers. I don't know if I'm going to say he got nothing on that one. It looked like a forward pass, so we'll give it the first non-Gensler completion for Sam Lair goes to Cole Wiedmeyer. It's going to be 3rd and 8. So quickly the Chargers get the Vikings into 3rd and long territory. And, the Vikings trying to stay ahead of schedule. They were able to do that for about half of that first drive. That's it. Otherwise, they've been behind the chains. Here's a fumble. Ball's on the turf, and it looked like it was Ebert that was able to get on top of it, but it's going to be no gain. I don't know who you credit that fumble to. It probably, at the end of the day, goes on Lair because he never cleanly got that ball to Ebert, but Ebert able to pounce on top of it, and the Vikes at least able to send this away on a punt. So fumble recovery, gain no yardage. And more confusion for the Vikes personnel-wise. Lair does a good job to make sure he has 11 guys, the legal lineup out there on the field, but they have already taken a delay of game on a 4th down that they were clearly going to punt. Don't want to do that again. Here's the snap. Lair, I think they're going to get illegal motion for the Vikings here. It's a decent punt for Lair. It's going to check up and end at the 43-yard line. Oh, there's a late hit, and I think that was number 28, Gavin Heightree, and I think that a little overzealous at the end of that play with how he was blocking one of the Vikings downfield. So it's either a block in the back or it's a personal foul penalty. Yeah, it's going to be a personal foul against the Chargers. And it was just motion, as I kind of thought Vikings had. Just looked awkward on that far side there, motion, and guy moving forward at the snap, and another guy not set. So we'll get a little bit of an explanation here. Not sure. Yeah, just offsets. I wasn't sure how that worked, if that was a dead ball penalty. Instead, they're going to say it happened during the play. So just offsets. And that was probably the right call. The ball was still moving when that blindside looking block came in from the Chargers. So the Vikes will have to punt it again. 4th and 8. 9 minutes and 21 seconds left here in the third quarter. And the Chargers trying to see what kind of field position they can carve out after the Vikes punt this thing. Well, I'm assuming they're going to punt it. Suppose you never know. Yeah, there goes Sam Lair. Lair deep. Good snap. Lair takes it. This is a little bit better of a punt, but Elke able to catch it. Nice coverage there by the Vikings. It was Schumacher and Gensler meeting at Elke. And they're going to give it to him at the 46. So a 3-and-out for the Vikings on their opening possession here of the second half. Not necessarily what you would have ordered there during the halftime intermission. But the defense going to be leaned on here in the second half, certainly on this possession to try to get the ball back for their offense. First opportunity here for Landon Hagenow. He had a great first half for the Chargers. He's in the shotgun. Takes the snap, option play. He was popped by Gensler. He had to pitch it backwards, and it looks like the Vikings do a nice job to cause a loss of yardage there. The pitch was to Martin. Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. I'll tell you what, that's the third time this game that Gensler has just come screaming off the edge, and he put another good shot there in on Hagenow. Hagenow will field tonight's game tomorrow, I think. He's back in the shotgun formation with his two trusty running backs, Martin and Shawi. Takes the snap, looks to the near side. He's going deep. It was tipped. Chance for the Vikings. It falls harmlessly, incomplete. I thought when that thing got tipped, that might be an opportunity for the Vikings to pick that one off. Wiedmeyer didn't get his head around quite in time, but he was able to knock it down nonetheless, and it ends up in a 3rd and 11. So nice play that time by the Vikings. Hagenow had some time, but the Vikes, a couple of those long defensive ends that they got. Sevi Paul's a big boy at defensive tackle as well. Paul goes 6'3". They got some guys with long arms that can get their hands on passes. Hagenow going to take the snap, looking to run. Pulls it down, gets popped once, and the Vikings going to stand for a 3-and-out here. Gensler was the one who completed the tackle. They'll give him a yard on the carry, but it's 4th and 10. So on their own 46, do you try it? Vikes are going to send two guys back. It's Wiedmeyer and Schumacher. They are pretty confident that the Chargers are going to punt, and sure enough, Martin is back about 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, a little bit more than that. And he waits for the snap, takes the snap. Vikings have a couple come through again. Better that time. No roughing and a late fair catch called, but it was successfully called for by Noah Schumacher. Caught it at the 21, and that's where the Vikings will start. I'll tell you what, you're about sick of seeing this kind of field position if you're the Vikings, but that was a good defensive possession. And if you'll recall back to the first half, when the Vikings got their touchdown, it was after their defense got a little bit of momentum for this team. Able to keep Kettle off the board, able to keep him without getting a first down. 3-and-out. Well, they were able to do it here. Can the Vikings take advantage on the offensive side? Have not gone to Gensler often tonight, just the 2 times that they've targeted him, and both times they were completed, one time for a big play. Here's Lair. They're going to move the pocket out to the far side, and that's a little bit out of the reach, looking for Schumacher on that out pattern. And Lair trying to be a little bit safe with that one. Schumacher was in the area, leads to 2nd and 10. That time they sent Gensler down the field, hoping to maybe clear out some of that secondary and let Schumacher come underneath. Noah Schumacher's the guy, you just want to get the ball in his hands. If the Vikings are able to do that, becomes a dangerous player in the open field. Certainly like to see that. That one just out of his reach. So the Vikes back to the line, 2nd and 10. Lair under center, receiver either side. Now in motion goes Schumacher. Pitch to the near side. This is Wiedmeyer. Cuts up field, and he's going to gain about 3 on the play. Cole Wiedmeyer working on a 65-plus yard night, 64-yard night here tonight. Let's call it 3rd and 6. Yeah. Give him 4 there. Tell you what, last year you had Jacob Huey for the Vikings. Obviously, you had Ethan Cole. Couple of other nice players, and now the rushing duties pretty much squarely on Cole Wiedmeyer and Brendan Ebert, a couple of seniors for this team. Here's Lair. Yeah, something looked weird there. They're going to say a false start. And once again, the Vikings had a 3rd and 6. Now it goes to 3rd and 11. Early on in the season, maybe you expect a little bit of sloppiness. Certainly been the case tonight for the Vikes. Got to clean that up as the season goes on. I have no doubt that Coach Lair and his crew will get that cleaned up. It only gets tougher from here, I'll tell you that much. Not sure what Chilton has this year. The Vikes went up there and scored a 14-7 win last year. You go there next week. Pardon me, Chilton came here last year. So you go there next week, and then starting up Flyway Conference play, and it's never easy in the Flyway. Those 3 teams that were good last year will be good again. Pump fake for Laird. Now going to go deep. Over the top. That's picked. Nice play on the far side, targeting Noah Schumacher. And I couldn't see a number on who was guarding Schumacher or Wiedmeyer, perhaps. There's an injured player and a hanky down. There's some yellow out there. I couldn't see what happened behind the play, but the Kettle coach, Coach Kren, I believe that is out on the field. And he is not happy about something that happened. I don't know if there was a hit there that was away from the football that he wasn't excited about. And you had the pass interference, but I thought that was picked off. Yeah, they're going to place the ball there at the 49-yard line. So Kettle will start their next possession at their own 49. And you just hope that Tyler Case is all right. He's back on his feet. Yeah, declined because it was picked off.
Penalty against the Vikings will be declined.
So another turnover. Vikes had one earlier on the fumble. Now they have an interception. It looked like it was Schumacher on that far side. They said it was Wiedmeyer on the PA. I thought it might have been Schumacher on that far side was the intended receiver. But nonetheless, it was thrown on the inside. So Kettle will start opportunity here at their own 49, just about at midfield. And once again, we're going to see Hagenau orchestrate this offense. In the shotgun, takes the snap. Yeah, there was a couple of different Chargers moving that time. And they'll start 1st and 15. So, again, I guess that goes both ways, doesn't it? The rusty early season scenario, that goes both ways. So first 2 possessions here for the Vikings in the second half. 3 and out, and essentially another 3 and out with the interception. Hagenau in the backfield takes the snap. Oh, that looked like a broken play. Looked like he wanted to give it off to Martin. Martin ran right past him. And there's going to be no gain on that play. Maybe even a loss of a yard, yeah. 2nd and 16 after that miscommunication in the backfield. Second and 16. The Chargers, Hagenow takes it. Oh, Gensler busts through again, forced Hagenow back inside, and I believe that was Peyton Backery. Yeah, it was. Backery able to sling him to the ground for another loss. That looked like a loss of about 3 or 4, so we're going to be looking at about 3rd and 20-ish. 3rd and 18. 17, 18, whatever you hear from Mr. Klukas is probably the right one. But 3rd and 17, 3rd and 18, it's 3rd and long. That's the point for the Vikings. So Hagenow once again in the backfield, takes the snap. Pitches, oh, that's dangerous. That was almost picked off. Hagenow got hit once again. That's Oscar Bloom who helps Hagenow back to his feet. The pitch went back to Shaywee, or pardon me, Martin. And all 3 of those plays go backwards. So, yeah, I mean, in a hurry, you have the false start. And then a couple of reverse or plays that go the wrong way. You're going to say he lost 4 officially on that one. 4th and 22. See if Wiedmeyer can get anything going on in terms of a return. The Vikings have not had good field position at all tonight. Every single one of their opportunities has come deep in their own area, and that's another good punt. Wiedmeyer's got to be careful, and he has to let it drip down all the way to the 20-yard line. And another flag, personal foul, roughing the punter. On 4th and 22, that's going to keep the Charger offense out on the field. That is a deflating one for the Vikings. I had just crossed off the possession. Just marked the possession being done for the Chargers, and that's not the case. So let's see, that former spot, well, they had moved, it was about the 38. And they're going to be all the way into Viking territory. Spot the ball at the 46. Oh, that is a backbreaker if you're a Viking fan. I got to be honest, I was already looking down the field. Backery's off the field, so I kind of wonder if it might have been him. There's an opportunity near side fumble. They're going to say it's a catch and a fumble. A scoop here on the near side. Going down the field, that's Ebert. Ebert breaks the tackle. He's down the sideline, inside the 20, pushed out inside the 15. And that's a huge play for the Vikings. The hit on the near side was Cole Wiedmeyer. The scoop was Brendan Ebert, and he almost took it the distance. Oh, I'm sorry, Schumacher. Thought that was 28. It was 22. Schumacher out of his safety position. What a play. 15-yard line is where the Vikes will start their new possession. Just how they drew it up. If they would have had the punt, it would have been their own their own 20. Oh, that was a huge play. Play made out wide by Leering. And a nice job by Cole Wiedmeyer to punch it out as soon as he got over there. He got his hand on the football. Leering lost it, and that was close to being an incomplete pass, but I think that was certainly, he looked like he took about 2-3 steps there. So I think that's a good catch and fumble call. Here's Lair, gives it to Ebert. Ebert round the far side, breaks the tackle. And he goes forward for, well, they said that was Karst. That looked like 28. Yeah, it was Ebert.
Ebert is the ball carrier. A gain of 6 at 2nd and 4.
It's a thankless job that Mr. Klukas has. He said Karst, and about 8 people from the stands yelled, "That's Ebert." Thankless job. So it's 2nd and 4, and the Vikings at the 10-yard line. They're knocking. Handoff to the up man is Wiedmeyer, and Wiedmeyer's going to plow his way forward. Looks like he's got the first down. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Vikings if he indeed does have that first down. There's the signal. Give him 4 on that one. He's down at the 5. So 4 yards on the pickup for Cole Wiedmeyer. Opportunity for the Vikings, taking advantage perhaps of a big mistake there from the Chargers. As Leering caught that one, and you thought, it looked like he was trying to break the tackle of Cole Wiedmeyer. If he's able to do that, he probably scores. Instead, the ball ends up on the turf. Here's the snap. And is that a fumble? Yeah, it looks like it is. And the Chargers are jumping out of the pile. They got it. The Chargers able to recover it. Couldn't see who the first one there was, but the guy who recovered it was Justice Aubrey, 6'1", 200-pound tight end, and also plays linebacker for the Chargers. And is that a deflating play or what? The Vikings fumble it and turn it back over. So 3 and out, interception, fumble. All of those drives went 3 plays, and that's it. So at their own 10-yard, check that, their own 8-yard line is where Kettle's going to start this possession. And Hagenau will get things going in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Perhaps maybe just try to keep something a little bit simple here. Gensler's pointing the other way. The Vikings have the football. I didn't even see a hanky on the field. Their umpire points back. No one threw. That was one of the most remarkable things. I didn't see the ball on the field. I didn't see any of the referees throwing in there, and now they're going to have a discussion. None of the referees threw the blue hanky down, but they are indeed switching out football, so it's Viking football now. My goodness. Try to keep up. So the Vikings back in business. They're going to get it from their +7 inside the 10. Take care of the football. I think that's probably what's going through Coach Lair's head. As Sam goes under center. Sam takes it, gives it to Ebert. Ebert cuts once. Oh, man, Oscar Bloom just drove one of the Charger defenders about 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. What a block from Oscar, who's one of those junior captains. They're going to say Ebert gained 4 yards on that. And 2nd goal now from the 3-yard line. Vikings got an opportunity here to once again tie or take the lead. Touchdown at least ties it for WLA. Wiedmeyer is the up man. Ebert also in the backfield. Snap to Lair. And more whistles. And another false start. I think Coach Lair is just going to wants a clean possession here. It's a false start, or they've had 2 roughing the punters. Man, I mean, you try to go a whole year without getting one of those. You get 2 of them in a game. You know, if the Vikes can clean it up, I mean, I'm sure Kettle will say the same thing. If they play a perfect football game, they'd tell you they should have a bigger lead than just 6, and I would agree. But both of these teams could make that claim, but certainly the Vikings. Here's the snap to Lair. Lair on the keeper, coming around the near side on the bootleg, and he gets hammered on this near side. Got a few back. They're going to spot him with no gain, actually.
We have a Charger down on the sideline on the play.
And one of the Chargers, Sam Elke, is down on this near side. They're going to attend to him we're going to catch our breath up here in the booth. The Vikings got a chance here inside scoring range, but it's going to be third down upcoming. 3rd and goal from the 8. That's next. Stay with us. This is Viking football on WLA TV. Back here, WLA TV. Kettle Moraine Lutheran leads Winnebago Lutheran 13-7. Always love talking sports with assistant girls varsity basketball coach John Supernan. He's tuning in, and oh man, if you got to get the bonfires in while you still can this year. He's looks like he's comfortable sitting out there next to the fires and bonfire, and who wouldn't? Nice, crisp August evening catching some Winnebago Lutheran Academy football. I think those WLA Viking girls basketball players, I think they're going to be hungry, ready to get after it come this winter as well. A lot of them play volleyball. They're going to be good this year in volleyball. Oh, what a play on the far side. Lair looked like he was going to find his favorite receiver, Gensler, and Jack Netzel sprawled out and batted it away with the left hand. So 13.7 seconds left. And decision time here. Do you send out the freshman Gannon Schwartz to try to chip into this lead, make it a, if you kick the field goal, you cut the deficit to 3, then you only need a field goal the next time. No. Looks like he's going to leave the offense out on the field. 4th and goal from the 8. Big play here. Can the Charger defense do what the Viking defense did on this same north end zone, and that's stand up on 4th and goal. Lot of eye candy. It's Noah Schumacher. He dives in, and the Vikes have tied it up. A gutsy play call on 4th and goal. Lots of window dressing, and it ends up with Schumacher leaping into the end zone. 13-13 on the scoreboard. And with 8 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, we got ourselves a whole new ball game. There was a fake to Wiedmeyer. There was a fake to Ebert. Lair then made a play and then pitched it. So Gannon Schwartz comes on now to potentially unbreak the tie. Good snap, good hold. It was blocked, and it went just to the left side. Kind of tough to see that, whether that was going to go in or not. It does not. But if you're a Vikings fan, you try not to let that diminish what you just did, which was steal the ball back after you fumbled inside the 10, inside the red zone. Be able to get it back on the next play, and you tie this thing up. That was a nice job, and great play call. That was a great play call, and well executed by Sam Lair. Tell you what, I watched that play up here, and I was leaning 2 different directions trying to figure out who had the football. Ends up with Noah Schumacher, who we really haven't seen a lot of this game in terms of offensive output. So 13-13. Jordan King with you here on WLA TV. Happy to have you along. I always say, with whether it's volleyball or football or wrestling, one of the basketball teams, we always love having you in the house being loud for the Vikings. But if you can't, man, I can't think of a better way than WLA TV.
Kicking off for the Vikings, Gannon Schwartz.
So glad to have you along this evening. Man, Friday night football, it's the first entryway into football season. You get this, couple weeks, you start hearing about fall camp for your favorite college football teams. The AP Top 25 comes out. Then you get NFL football, but there's nothing better than this, is there? Friday night lights at the high school level. Short kick fielded by Kettle Moraine. That's number 20. Gensler able to knock him down. That's Martin. And Martin with the second return for the Chargers that ends up in positive territory. We'll see if they mark it at the 50. It looks like they're going to. Right at the 50. That's the last play of the third quarter. We're going to head to the fourth, and the Vikes have just tied it up. So stay with us. You're watching on WLA TV. Chargers have it at the 50-yard line when we return. Welcome back. Jordan King with you here this evening. Vikings and the Chargers trying to get after it, get that first win of the season. Chargers won this meeting last year 20-13. You look at the scoreboard right now, that is looking eerily familiar to tonight's game. Starting 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line, Chargers going to hand it off. That is Shaywee getting the give from Hagenow, and Shaywee lost a yard, we'll say, back into his own territory. So it'll be 2nd and 11. And we talked about the tough schedule for the Vikings just a year ago, where they started out against perhaps some easier competition, built up that 4-1 record, had to win down the stretch. They lose 3 straight to Campbellsport, Mayville Springs, respectively. Hagenow in the shotgun formation, man coming into the near side. That's Elke, and did we get a false start? You did. So it's going to be 2nd and 16 after moving him back 5 yards. A little bit different for the Vikings coming up this year. After this one, you get Mayville Springs, Campbellsport. As much as it's different, as much as it stays the same, you still have to play Mayville Springs, Campbellsport consecutively for the Vikings. But you don't have to play them in the back end of the season. You can maybe get a little bit more of momentum back. Laconia, Omro, North Fond du Lac, perhaps you can maybe get a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs. Hand fighting on the near side. That's completely clean on both sides. No flag forthcoming. Hagenow went deep. And Thistle went down on the near side as well.
Coverage by the Vikings, Cole Wiedmeyer.
Both sets of fans kind of screaming that they wanted pass interference, which I think that tells you let it play. if both, because both guys were pushing. Wiedmeyer, nothing illegal there, nothing illegal from Thistle. That's just good, strong hand fighting in my opinion. But certainly hope that Thistle's all right on this near side. Getting back to the Vikings schedule. Got Kettle tonight at Chilton, team you beat last season here at home. Then you go to Lemira. A couple of seasons ago in that alternate fall season, Lemira, they were the best team perhaps in the state in this division, and they ended up tying Omro that season with at the top of the Flyway Conference. And there was no championship, that year. But Lemira has a chance to retool and get back to it as well. Mayville, like I said, I think Mayville's going to be one of the best teams in the state this year. Springs is Springs. Campbellsport was a team that, you know, they thought might be at state last year. Their season was ended to Mayville, who again went to the state championship game. Then, as I said, you get Laconia, your homecoming game against Omro, and then at North Fond du Lac. You got some opportunities as the season closes down to maybe put some wins on the board there. Thistle's up and walking under his own power. Good to see that to the far side of the field. It's going to be 3rd and 16. And a chance for the Vikings to get off the field and maybe continue to build on what is quite a bit of momentum for them at the time. 10:57 left to go in this one, just underway in the 4th quarter. It's been an entertaining game, but plenty of mistakes. Plenty of mistakes. There's no doubt about that. You know, Kettle will tell you, you give it right back, you stop them, you force a fumble inside. They're in the red zone. They're getting ready to punch it in. You force a fumble, and then you fumble it right back the next play. That's tough. So Kettle being urged out of their timeout, and here they run back onto the field. It'll be Jack Netzel onto the field along with number 17, Christopher Kausenga, and they'll try to replace the production of Matt Thistle. Here's the snap, turn, no, it's going to be swung out here to the aforementioned Netzel, and Netzel's going to be cut down by Chop Simmons and crew. Sam Lair was there as well. Lair plays in the cornerback safety role, secondary player. Oh boy, there's Cole Wiedemeyer limping off the field. You hope that's just maybe a stinger or just a Charlie horse maybe. He's just limping off. So hopefully nothing significant there for Cole Wiedemeyer. The Vikes could certainly continue to use him. There's no doubt about that. Martin back to punt on 4th and 10. So the Vikes going to get the football back. Whistle. Is it a delay? And they're going to pick it up. I was going to say, that seemed like a very quick delay of game. The flag did come in from the back judge, and that's usually, if it's pre-snap and it's from the back judge, that's usually the indication is that it's going to be a delay of game, but that seemed pretty quick. So they pick that one up, snap back, and here is the punt. It's away. It is a beauty through the Fond du Lac night sky. Caught back there, I believe that is Noah Schumacher. Schumacher makes a man miss and then puts his head down and bowls his way up to the 20-yard line or thereabouts, which is where the Vikings will take over. Yep, up to the 20 is where they'll mark it. Hopefully coming up next week we'll have that scoreboard centered correctly for you on the huddle camera. And we won't have to have the score in the upper corner of the screen, although I think it worked out all right tonight. So a chance for the Vikings to do something they haven't done since the first quarter, which is take the lead. If they can put together another good drive here, although I say that, the Vikings have struggled to put together many good drives tonight. Their scoring opportunities have come on short fields. There's that same similar play, but this time Schumacher's going to lose a pair of yards. They bring the near receiver around. They fake it to the up man, and then Schumacher is kind of playing a tight end role. He kind of curls around along with one of the pulling offensive linemen, and they just flip him the ball. And it's kind of one of those you used to see with Peyton Manning. You know, Patrick Mahomes does it. The Chiefs do it with Travis Kelce, and you just try to get your tight end lost in those pulling linemen. And I think that's what worked for the Vikings previously. Is Noah Schumacher, let me get his official size here. He's not a big guy, 5'6". So you put you're having Noah Schumacher at 5'6", running behind 6-foot Chop Simmons, 6'1" Oscar Bloom, 6'3" Sebi Paul, 6'1" Peyton Backery, right? Brendan Eberts, you get him behind, Brendan Eberts, the running back, he's out in front of him. You get all these 6', 6'3" guys out front, and it's easy to understand that you could maybe lose Mr. Schumacher behind the line of scrimmage. So like that play call once again. Couldn't see who was down there. But a Viking back to his feet. That is Schumacher. And he'll make his way off the field. Certainly hope everything's all right with Schumacher and certainly Cole Wiedmeyer as well. And had a couple of Kettle players out, Thistle. Hope they're all right. Tyler Case was the other one that left the field for Kettle earlier. So it'll be second and a long 11. I had him at second and 12, so we'll call it second and 11. 9:39 to play here in the ball game, and the Vikings kind of the walking wounded the past couple of plays. So Schumacher will take a seat. I don't see Wiedmeyer out here. He might be back onto the field. They're going to have Ebert off tackle, following a couple of linemen, and he's going to gain about 5. Get the Vikings back close to being right on pace with the chains. I think it'll be about 3rd and 6. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, a 5-yard pickup for Ebert coming around this near side. So 3rd and 6, big opportunity to get off the field for the Chargers. Big opportunity for the Vikings to maybe finally sustain a drive. They haven't had a possession yet that's gone more than 3 plays, excluding a punt, yet this half. And really, you go back to the first half, very few tonight, 1 or 2 possessions that have had more than 3 plays. Here's a pass to Gensler. Oh, he bobbled it and not able to complete the catch. That was a excellent touch pass from Sam Lair. I thought that Lair might bring that one down. Looked like a big play forthcoming. Instead, it falls harmlessly to the turf. 4th and 6 now, and the Vikings probably going to be forced to punt. Good double coverage there, and really a tricky pass to try to fit in there. Lair did, though, and just difficult with a couple of players making plays for Gensler to bring that pass in. So 4th and 6. See if Lair can put a little bit more foot into it than he was able to last time. Last punt only went about 17, 18 yards. Going to need a little bit better of one here. Good protection. It's a little bit better. And still going to be in positive territory for the Chargers. It's going to be 48-yard line is where Kettle will take over. So momentum starting to swing back into the favor of the Chargers. But the Vikings probably going to feel okay. I have the Vikings giving up negative yards here in this second half. I have the Vikings giving up negative 3 yards. Now, everything I say is wildly unofficial statistics, and maybe tomorrow someone will tell me that Kettle's at 15, but that's what I have the Vikings at here this half. That's well overthrown there as Hagenau had a couple of guys in single coverage, and he launched one downfield. Overthrew both Leering and Netzel, I believe, were the 2 over there. No, it was Elke alongside with Leering. And you could tell right off his hand, that one was going to be a little bit overthrown. So 2nd and 10 from the 48-yard line, plus 48 for Kettle. And there hasn't been many incompletions so far tonight, although there haven't been many completions tonight either. And they're going to get the right tackle moving on this one. Gensler pointed it out right away. That's the 3rd false start here in the second half for Kettle. So, like I said, that inexperienced sword cuts both ways. And not really inexperienced, but maybe the rust of an opening game. That cuts both ways. And neither team has looked particularly sharp. So 2nd and 15. Hagenau in the backfield, kind of lonely back there right now. They got two receivers split to either side, and Shawi is the only running back. Not many times tonight have they gone without a tight end and only one back. And that's a hold, and they are going to get it. There's a fumble on the far side. Gensler forces the fumble. The Vikings get on top of it. It's going to be WLA football.
Quarterback sack and a fumble.
It should be WLA football. There was a hold, a massive hold, right up the middle. I think it was Backery coming through. They're going to decline that penalty, and it's going to go over to the Vikings. It was Gensler that forced the fumble. I couldn't see who hopped on it on that far side. But that's a huge play. Once again, the Vikings. So if you count that sack back there, which is probably about a 10-yard loss, the Vikings are stifling the Chargers on defense. That was recovered right about where it was fumbled. So, yeah, you're talking about a 10-yard loss before the fumble. And momentum shifted firmly back into the camp of the WLA Vikings. Under center, Sam Lair. Lair takes the snap, drops back. They're going to take a shot after the turnover. DB slips. Oh, and Schumacher has it go between his hands. The defensive back slipped, and the pass looked almost like a punt. It was actually, they're going to say it was Karst. It was Schumacher.
Schumacher, the intended receiver, number 22. Second and 20.
Oh, man. Schumacher is one of your punt returners, and after the DB slipped, it almost looked like a punt back there. That's probably the second one tonight that is going to go down as an incompletion to Sam Lair. That was a well enough thrown ball. I'm not going to say it hit him in stride. I'm not going to say it was the prettiest thing we've seen fly through the night sky here tonight, but that should have been a touchdown. Lair under center. Pulls Ebert in motion, pitches to Ebert. Ebert stiff arm around the left or right side and pulled down there by a gang of Chargers tacklers. He's going to gain 5 and make it a manageable 3rd and 5 opportunity. Man, the shot play after the turnover, and the Vikings should have paid it off with 6. But, hey, that's football. You got to find a way to brush that off and punch this back into the end zone if you're the Vikings. So 3rd and 5. Schumacher on the near side here. Revez to the top of the screen. He's the blocking tight end option. Wiedmeyer's in the backfield. Couple of Chargers looked like they might have jumped. They were able to stay on their own side. Here, bowling his way to a first down. Just playing bully ball now, the Vikings. That's a 7-yard pickup for Brendan Ebert and a first down. 12 yards on the last 2 carries for Ebert. It's down to the 22-yard line, and the Vikings continue driving. Unless my notes are incorrect here, this will be the first possession in the second half where the Vikings are running a 4th play. That will not be a punt. Lair under center. Wiedmeyer and Ebert in the backfield. Give to Wiedmeyer inside, off tackle, and driven down there. But again, the Vikings, dare I say, they're starting to impose their will. The Vikings across the board are the smaller team here. But the trench battle is being won by the Vikings. I think Coach Quist, Coach Mankey, I think they're going to love seeing that. Guys just bulldozing people over. They're going to give him 6 yards on that pickup there for Wiedmeyer. So 2nd and 4. Under center goes Lair. Lair takes the snap, gives it to Ebert. Ebert picking his way through, and another first down for the Vikings. Ebert looked like he was down to about the 10. That's where the near side official is going to spot him. So another 4-yard pickup, and we'll see no chain gang. It's 1st and goal.
Ball is touching the 10-yard line. It's 1st and goal from the 10.
So I suppose on one hand you picked up the first down. On the other hand, this is as far as you can go for a goal-to-go situation. Kettle's going to take a timeout. The Vikings have slowly taken this game over, and they have Mr. Momentum firmly in their grasp here with an opportunity to take a lead and avenge one of their 5 losses from a year ago. Timeout, Kettle. We'll come back. 13-13. You're watching on your home for WLA football, WLA TV. Stay with us. So coming out of that timeout, the Vikings were absolutely running the ball down. I mean, you had runs of 5, 7, 6, 4, 22 quick yards for the Vikings, and Kettle had to take a timeout. Here's Wiedmeyer up the middle. Wiedmeyer, and the Vikes have their first lead since the first quarter. 19-13. Cole Wiedmeyer was untouched going in from 10 yards out.
Cole Wiedmeyer with a 10-yard touchdown run for the Vikings.
He cut once to the left, and then he saw a cutback lane to the right. He hit it, and he was gone. You know, down inside the 10-yard line in goal-to-go situations, it is so congested. Very rarely do you see a guy walk in without any defensive player getting a hand on him, and I don't think Wiedmeyer had anyone on him that time. Here's the extra point, and Gannon Schwartz able to somehow kick it around a block attempt and make it. It's 20-13. Sound familiar? That was the score from last year's game. 20-13. That was won by the home team, Kettle Moraine Lutheran. This time the Vikings the home team, and they lead it 20-13. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. Man, if you're the Vikings, you got to believe you play some good defense here. Force the Chargers off the field, and the way you just ran the football, you ran 6 plays, 34 yards. All of them coming on the ground. One pass that really should have been it. That was mishandled by Schumacher. After that, you ran 5 plays, all on the ground, gained 34 yards, and scored a touchdown. If you hold the Chargers, get them off the field, and run the ball like that, you've won the game. So it's a 7-point lead for the Vikes. Opportunity here to start the season 1-0. You're watching on WLA TV. It'll be Gannon Schwartz once again to kick it off for the Vikings. Last couple of times, the last 2 touchdowns for the Vikes, both of them coming in this half, Schwartz has had players on his lap. Tough situation for a freshman, but he has handled his kicking duties tonight expertly. And he's going to have a chance to kick it deep here. Elke has looked dangerous as a returner for Kettle. It's going to go back to Elke. He fields it at the 15. Sprints past the 25. Gets the seam far side. He needs one block. Nice job by Gensler to funnel him towards the sideline, and out of bounds at the 50-yard line goes Sam Elke. So right at dead straightaway midfield. Field position, starting field position tonight has been advantage Kettle. But the only advantage WLA cares about right now is the scoreboard, saying they have 7 more points. So what can the Chargers respond with? I have the Vikings holding the Chargers to negative yards here in this half. Can they continue that down the stretch? 5 minutes and 22 seconds left in this one. Near to far side goes Netzel. Off the edge goes Gensler, and completing the sack, Oscar Bloom and Sebi Paul. One of the Vikings is down in the backfield of the Chargers. They're going to call the trainer out again. And that's a big play once again. It's going to be a loss of 3. Sebi Paul and Oscar Bloom. We're going to step aside as the injured player is tended to for the Vikings. We'll come back. Vikes lead by 7. You're watching WLA TV. Peyton Backery off the field there for the Vikings. It's going to be 2nd and 13 after the 3-yard sack for the Vikings of Landon Hagenow. And Hagenow is in the pistol. Once again, Netzel goes into motion, gets the ball on the end around on the far side, takes it up about 10 yards. I would say Netzel gain on that one. It's going to be setting up a 3rd and 3. Somewhere around there. Got a final score from a Flyway Conference game. Campbell Sport 33, New Holstein 7. And elsewhere in the 4th quarter, Mayville 28, Cedar Grove, Belgium 7. A couple of Flyway scores. I know Springs plays tomorrow. So a couple of Flyway schools that expect to be contending for the Flyway Conference crown. Gensler got around the edge, not able to keep contained. Simmons can't catch him, and was Hagenow able to get enough? He was. He needed 3, got 4. So that'll move the change for Kettle as the clock ticks inside 5 minutes here tonight. Vikings lead it by 7. Gensler once again came zooming around the edge, and a good job there by Hagenow that time. He's taken a couple of sacks in those situations. That time stepped up, stepped through the pressure, and was able to pick up the 4 yards necessary to get a first down. Now that was 4-down territory either way. Hagenow takes the snap. And once again, blowing it up at the mesh point, Sebi Paul. Nice play by Sebi Paul, and a nice play to finish it out. I want to say that was Alec Oberg, perhaps. Yeah, Alec Oberg was in. I think he was in for Brendan Ebert, or for Peyton Backery for a couple of plays. Backery was the one down hurt for the Vikes, and he's back out onto the field in his familiar defensive tackle position. They were trying to hand the ball off to Shawi. They ended up doing it, but Vikes have met him at the mesh point a couple of times tonight. Here's Hagenow. Drops back, steps to his right. Now heaves one downfield. He was hit as he did, and that's overthrown once again. Backery was the one that was through and put a good hit on Landon Hagenow. So his pass falls to the turf. I think those 14 yards might have been enough to maybe get Kettle into positive output here in the second half, but perhaps not. Vikings have done just a tremendous job It's going to be 3rd down and 10 for Kettle. Trotting back into the huddle goes the junior Landon Hagenow, 6-foot quarterback. He's done a nice job tonight. He's looking for his first completion for some time, though. Started out hot with a couple of long ones in the first half, and since hasn't really gotten much going. And a timeout for Kettle. Coach Kren didn't like what he saw, took the timeout. They're going to talk it over. 7-point lead for the Vikings. Stay with us. We'll have the final 3 minutes and 29 seconds when we come back. This is Viking football on WLA-TV. Back here at Viking Field, a big 3rd down upcoming here for Kettle. Probably looking at 4-down territory as after using a couple of timeouts. So here's Hagenow. Hagenow looking to the near side, now going through his progressions over the middle of the field. Tipped up and picked off. It's Cole Wiedmeyer, tipped by Ebert. Wiedmeyer completes the pick, and the Vikings are in the driver's seat to finish out this game and move to 1-0. What a play by Cole Wiedmeyer. Brendan Ebert got his hands, stuck his hands up, trying to pick it off. It was kind of an awkward position for him to try to pick it, and it just popped it straight into the air, into the waiting arms of Cole Wiedmeyer. And Wiedmeyer made a couple of guys miss on the return. Not that that's your primary focus. Your primary focus there is hang on to the football. He's able to do that. Vikes at their own 33-yard line is where they will start this one. After we hit the final here, we'll take a quick break. I'll add up a few stats, all unofficial stats that you may or may not care about, but it'll paint the story of whatever happened here tonight. And the Vikes hope that means a win. And like I said, if you run like you did on the last possession, the win should be in the bag right now. There's Wiedmeyer, or check that, that might have been Schumacher. Couldn't see if that was a 2 or a 3. But it was an 8-yard gain for the Vikings.
Viking gain on the play of 8 yards, leaves them 2nd and 2.
We can give it to Schumacher. And Kettle's going to have one of their players trot off. That was Justice Aubrey, who had the fumble recovery earlier for the Chargers, and he was limping a little bit on his way off the field. 2nd and 2. Now they're going to call it 2nd and 3, so 7 yards on the pickup. And if the Vikings can get a couple of first downs, this one will be in the books with just 2 minutes and 39 seconds left. I want to say they have them down, yeah, just the one timeout. Yeah, that's what I thought. They'd used 2 timeouts. There's Lair. Lair straight up the middle. There's a first down, and that, we're starting to get into iced territory. There's a first down for Cole Wiedmeyer. Going to give him about 4 on that one. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. That'll start ticking as soon as they reset the chains. Take your time jogging out there, Sam. Well, the chains are set, so can't quite figure out. Oh, there we go. I missed it. Apologies. I missed the wind of the clock. Inside 2 minutes here tonight. Vikes take care of the football. This one should be in good hands. Here's Ebert. Ebert around the near side, just going to gain a single yard. And I think this will be the time that Kettle uses their timeout, I would guess. Yes, that is the case.
Chargers use their third and final timeout of the half.
So coming out of halftime, the Vikings got the ball down inside the Kettle 5-yard line, 10-yard line. Pardon me. They were down at the 15. Yeah, they had it down to the 5. And on a first and goal play, they fumbled the football. Looked deflating. Looked like that might be the play that maybe just takes the wind out of the sails and maybe makes this a really, really difficult second half. And the Vikes were trailing at this point in time. The very next play, the Vikes able to force a fumble of Kettle Moraine Lutheran and get that ball right back inside the 10 at their at the Kettle Moraine 7. From there, 2 plays later, Noah Schumacher, it was 3 plays later, on a 4th down, Coach Kevin Lair kept the offense out there, and Noah Schumacher, through the window dressing, he was able to score. That tied things up, and then we'll tell you a little bit about the final drive that the Vikings were able to perhaps ice this thing away coming up here. Here's Lair, takes the handoff, turns, gives to Wiedmeyer. Wiedmeyer gets, we'll give him 2.
Up the middle for a short gain on the play.
I have to look at the official statistics. Wiedmeyer got to be closing in on about a 75-yard day or so. Going to be a 3rd and long 6, 3rd and 7 maybe. By the time the Vikes snap this, it should be at or just a little bit inside of a minute to play. And if the Vikes take care of the football here, well, of course, if you get the first down, you win the ball game. You take care of the football and you punt something semi-respectable, you're going to feel like
Vikings take their second timeout.
You're in a good place.
Their first timeout.
First timeout for the Vikings, 59.4 seconds. So let's get back to it. The Vikes tie it up. On the ensuing possession, they are able to force a 3-and-out. Vikes got the ball back. Same thing, 3-and-out. Gave it back to Kettle. Vikings able to force a fumble that the Vikes recovered, which gave the Vikings just their second, or I guess 3rd drive in positive territory. They started at the Charger 34-yard line. From there, we talked about the deep shot to Noah Schumacher on that first play after a turnover, as some coaches like to do. Schumacher not able to haul it in. Then it was Ebert for 5, Ebert for 7, Wiedmeyer for 6, Ebert for 4, and then Wiedmeyer for 10. And the touchdown that has the Vikings leading this one by 7. So 59 seconds left in this one. 3rd and 7. Got to take care of the football. You cannot put it on the ground here. Doesn't matter if you get the first down. Keep hold of the football. Brendan Ebert did. You can punt this one away with not a lot of time left on the clock and make the Chargers do some backyard kind of stuff, trying to flip it and toss it and find their way to an overtime bid, but it's going to be looking slim here for the Chargers. So they're going to come after this punt. There's no doubt about that. I would expect the Vikings to run this down, ask the official when they're about to get flagged, and take another timeout. That's what the offense looks like they're doing. They're waiting, watching that back judge, and right before he puts that hand up for the last time, they're going to take their second timeout. There it is, 11.1 seconds.
Vikings take another timeout.
If you are Coach Kren and Kettle, you got to believe you got to send the house here. Now then you got the play and you're running around. It's not going to be 11 seconds to punt it and watch that ball. But man, this is what we love, isn't it? this is why we're all here. 20-13, a matchup that a decade ago would be we would be talking about a late November or a late October game. We'd be talking about playoff football. We'd be talking about flyway conference implications. You know, now a decade later, perhaps not. But still, a couple of schools that love playing each other, love getting the better of the other, that's for sure. And the Vikings, man, you're there. You just got to execute now. You got to execute a punt. You got to tackle someone. Those are the two things. Execute the punt, and then once Kettle gets the football and runs their one or two offensive plays, you got to tackle somebody. That's the recipe for the Vikings to be 1-0 in a couple of minutes. We'll see if they can do it. They're going to get it to Lair, and they're not even going to punt it. They're going to give it to Schumacher. Schumacher, icing on the cake, far side, 10, 5, and he's stopped at the 1. Doesn't matter. They're going to run out the time. It's going to be a 40, well, they'll give it a 50-yard play for Noah Schumacher, and the ball game is over. I thought he was going to sneak in. He didn't, but it doesn't matter for the Vikings.
Chargers 13.
Well, what do I know? Don't even mess around with a long snap to a punt. That's why I'm up here and Coach Lair is down there. It was the same play. That was a 4th and 8 conversion for a touchdown to tie the thing up. Same exact play. Lots of window dressing. Guys flying around both sides of the line of scrimmage, and you pitch it to Noah Schumacher and let him do the rest. Just a talented running back. Forget about the injury. Forget about the opportunity he had to take in about a 40-yard touchdown pass. He made a couple of huge plays tonight, Noah Schumacher, and he helped the Vikings to a 1-0 start. 20-13. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you some generalized numbers here. I don't want to leave you waiting too long. We'll give you the scoring update for sure, the scoring story for tonight. I had Cole Wiedemeyer. He's got to be right around the 75, 80, 85-yard mark. I don't have a statistician up here, so I apologize. I don't have exact numbers. The Vikings able to do this behind just 2 completed passes tonight for Sam Lair. Sam found Noah Gensler twice, one for a 59-yard touchdown. That's it, just a 59-yard touchdown. And then one for a 7-yard completion. Otherwise, it was all ground all the time for the Vikings tonight. And when you got guys running violently like Cole Wiedemeyer, like Brendan Ebert, kind of the slippery nature of Noah Schumacher, yeah, that'll work. That'll work for the Vikings. Noah Schumacher had the 8-yard touchdown. Then he had the 50-yard run there to close it out. He lost on a couple of yards, so I had him at 48 to end the game. Brendan Ebert at halftime had just 6 yards, but this second half he had runs of 6, 4, 5, just chunk runs. Guy that puts his head down, gets to the line of scrimmage, and finishes runs violently, does Brendan Ebert. Fun guy to watch play the game. Scoring summary tonight. Started off, as I mentioned, Sam Lair found Noah Gensler, who was lined up kind of in a tight end type of role, normally split out wide. He was tucked in near the line of scrimmage, and just Kettle lost him coming through the shuffle, and 59 yards later, the Vikings took a 7-0 lead. After that, quick response, just 2 plays later, Charger quarterback Landon Hagenow found his favorite target, Matthew Thistle, and Thistle did the rest, 37 yards to the house on a slant. On the very next possession, after forcing the Vikes 4 and out, the Chargers able to get a 12-yard TD scamper from Landon Hagenow. So Hagenow responsible for all the points tonight for the Chargers. Hagenow, after the first quarter, was 2 for 2, 94 yards. He ended up finishing with those 94 yards and the one touchdown, and then the one he ran in. That was the score at halftime, 13-6. Vikings rattled off 13 points here in the second half, 13-7. 13 points for the Vikings in the second half. We told you about them just a few minutes ago. First one was the same one that just iced the game with the 50-yard run. It was an 8-yard 4th and goal from the 8, and it was Noah Schumacher who took it 8 yards and dove his way into a touchdown that tied the game at 13. And then inside 5 minutes left, or inside 6 minutes, I should say, and left in the game, the Vikings got the ball after a turnover. They were able to force a fumble, and from the 34-yard line, they had 5 consecutive runs that averaged 7 yards a carry, ended with Cole Wiedmeyer dancing in from 10 yards out for the game-winning touchdown. The Vikings won it 20-13, and they are 1-0 on this young season. That's a heck of a job by the Vikings. Got to give Coach Blair and his staff a lot of credit because, like I said, after there were a couple of plays tonight, you put a star down and you said, roughing the punter. How do the Vikes respond to this? Snap over the head down to the 4-yard line. How do the Vikes respond to this? They don't give up a point. Just a couple of big plays. The Vikings able to turn over Kettle twice in the second half. Really nice job. Fun game to watch. And if you're a Viking fan, you got to be excited with what you saw in the trenches tonight. Kettle, the bigger team, and the Vikings out-physicaled them, at least from my vantage point here tonight. Coach Supernan chiming in, and I would agree with him. A little bit of a gutsy call there on 4th down. You don't get it, you're given the ball with probably about 8 seconds left near midfield. Gutsy call. Do you just punt it down and make them try to go 70, 80, 90 yards in 5 seconds? Or do you go for the kill shot? And that's what the Vikings did. They were able to find Schumacher, and Schumacher took care of the rest. Want to thank you for joining us tonight. Jordan King saying so long, good night. It's a 20-13 win. The Vikings are 1-0 in this 2022 season. Thanks for joining us. Hope you'll join us the rest of the season. Every home sporting event, volleyball and football, you'll be able to find it here on WLA TV. Hope you'll stick around and join us for those. Should be an exciting fall on the campus of Winnebago Lutheran Academy. Jordan King saying so long and good night.